The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of, well, I'm going past that. It's Monday, the 27th day of March. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sancha Durham, and Maya Palacio will be with you in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Greetings, Sister Sancha. How are you?
Good morning. It's Monday. But it's a good Monday because schools are out. So I didn't have to race to try to get my son Maddox ready for school. It's just one of those days where we actually watch the clock go until like 7:15. And I was like, oh, I have to get up.
Yeah, Sister Sancha, it was one of those mornings for me as well. Like I couldn't go to sleep last night, and I think it had to do with I remember that I have to do my taxes this week, and so I was wondering. I was like, I stayed home all weekend, well, pretty much, because I had to do my taxes. I never got around. I forgot I had to do them, and I definitely have to figure out what Donald Trump and Jeff Bezos do because taxes are you know what.
Well, I was going to ask you what you were up to this weekend because you were pretty quiet this weekend.
Yeah,
Normally, we hear from you here and there. You were just maybe the shock of having to do taxes just had you mute.
yeah.
You
It,
look stressed, Jamal.
yeah. It was. I feel good though. I think once I remembered, that's when the stress hit, and it happened to be last evening. But I will say, it was a restful one. I caught up on some rest and chillaxed a bit, and there was no. Here's the great thing: there was no football this weekend, like club football. So there was no stress. I didn't have to worry about waking up. But you know what I did do, Sancho? Guess remember what I did on Saturday morning? What I tell you I did Saturday morning? You don't remember?
You say, hold on, Saturday
Uh,
morning. I don't.
I
I,
got me a 90-minute
oh,
massage,
you did. You did. I was at football, so yes, you did. I was jealous.
folks. Man, she put me to sleep. Is that a good thing?
That's an excellent thing.
Okay,
That's
just
good
checking.
for having. It's supposed to relax you.
Yeah, I was relaxed then. Yeah, I think it made me relax the whole weekend until I remembered I had my taxes. Sister Sandra.
So I have to remember that Saturday mornings, go and have a massage, and then you'll be good for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. Try it, folks. Try it, folks. Anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we discuss what we can learn from this past weekend's men's national football game. Bermuda played Guyana. A lot of feedback. We had the question on Instagram. I think people were so focused on the game and not the event overall. Obviously, there were a lot of people who were challenged with getting in and getting seats and just the whole thing around the game, the entertainment, the experience. If you remember Friday's conversation, we spoke a lot. Sherry touched on a lot as well about, making it exciting so that we can fill up that stadium when Bermuda's playing. We're also going to focus on whether or not Bermudians still have issues with immigration. Bermuda's in a fight for its life to get people there, but everyone's fighting for immigrants, right? But have we passed the era? Like, are we now beyond Bermudians looking at foreigners as an enemy? So we'll focus on that. The daily players are who said it. So a little, I don't know if anybody's going to get this one. It's a difficult one, but a hint. Hollywood actress. Yeah, we'll give you that much. But don't forget to subscribe on our website, dailyhour.com, and follow us on our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to improve our community. And good morning to you, Tanya Cheeseman. Yes, it is a new week, and we are happy to be here with you. But let's jump right into it. What can we learn from Bermuda's men's national football team's latest game? And folks, again, the question wasn't just about the game and the players. It was about the overall experience. So it's on Friday, we were talking about, how we can get more Bermudians out to support our national teams, not just football, but our national teams. And there was a lot of good feedback. Sherry led the conversation just saying, we create an experience around it, right? Like in the US, many sports events, there's an experience around it. Cop match is a perfect example. The majority of people that go to cop match probably haven't seen a ball bowled or hit, right? So what's the experience you build around it? I think a lot of people started to respond on Instagram as if the question was actually reflecting the game, players, and coach, but that's not what the question's reflecting. What can we learn from that experience? Like, how can we, if you look at pictures that were taken from the game, and if you were there, the grandstand may have been full, but the other side was not, right? What can we learn? Do we need to do more to get people over that side? There were people saying that the lines going down Parsons Road and the game had already started. Well, is this a BFA problem, or is this a people problem where we need to get to places a bit earlier? Like sometimes we have to take accountability and get to places before it starts. Was that?
I was there.
No, I'm not.
It's a BFA problem.
Hold on. She's starting to thought I wasn't saying that's the. I'm just asking. I'm an innocent person.
It was a BFA problem.
Okay, well, go ahead. Go tell me about it.
I do events. I've done plenty of huge events at National Stadium. So the logistics of it all, from what I experience, it needs to be tighter.
Okay.
You had people purchasing tickets. So my experience overall, I enjoyed the game. You know what I mean? I was happy to actually be watching our national team playing an international team. It brought me joy. We got there and the lines were insane, but there was one gate open. You have what 3 different gates that you can open at National Stadium. So anyone that bought a $20 ticket to sit up over the other side, they should have been able to enter from the top side. If you bought VIP tickets, you should have been able to enter from the back. There was only one gate open. So this is why the gate was going down the road. I think that there has to be, and I don't think it is, before I speak out of turn, there has to be somebody that works specifically for National Stadium that can liaise with anyone that's having events, that can suggest these things. Like, this is how we normally do it. This is how you can lay it out based on what your event looks like. Because the logistics of it was definitely not on. So we had gotten there. We bought grandstand tickets and there were no more seats in the grandstand. I was not going to sit there with Maddox, and Jesse and I was looking at each other like, what are we going to do? So we wanted to upgrade. Like, let's upgrade to VIP, because there were tons of seats available in VIP. And it was just like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, what? Just being able somebody to make quick decisions to actually, you're making more money, and you're accommodating someone to at least make us feel comfortable, so that, it's all about the experience. And I felt that the logistics of it wasn't thought out 100%. And especially what you're paying. We talked about what you're paying. I defended this. So now it's like, if we're going to pay this, let's make sure our logistics are tight.
Yeah. I think, and again, folks, we put the question on Instagram, but I think without explanation, people kind of got, I think they answered it a bit differently based on how the purpose of the question. But I'll go to Instagram. The question was, what can we learn from Bermuda's game on the weekend? And, one of the First response, change is good in order to progress forward. Not sure what that means. Another says that a lot of work is needed. Not sure if this is on the field or off the field. Another person says the younger players brought the energy needed and should have come on earlier. Nepotism. Again, it wasn't about the actual like in-game play. We should have been clearer and said the experience, but unfortunately, we don't have enough characters on Instagram to ask. Another person said they should have started with the younger players. They seem to have the drive. Another person says we show up to support our own. Do we? Didn't look like a full stadium. Another person says we have a lot of talent. Another person said make better decisions on team selection. Guyana isn't that good, yet we made them look it. Again, the question wasn't reflecting the actual game. It was really about the experience. What can we learn from the Bermuda's men's national football team's latest game? Like, what can we learn from the experience? Tanya Cheeseman says they could have outlined the FIFA rules better. You could not have a water bottle with a top on it. Well, I agree with you. I think that again, it's a learning experience. In most arenas and stadiums throughout the world, there are consistent rules. I think we probably just need to fall in line. But I want to go back to something Sencha said about someone who works for the national stadium and liaises with the BFA. My hopes would be that that is something that takes place. It would only seem right, and it should be a normal, knowing that that's the only place Bermuda plays its international games. There should be something. But I think, I don't want to criticize the Bermuda Football Association or FIFA or the national stadium. What I do think, though, is we were always going to be able to learn stuff from this. And just leading up to the game, you had people who had written to us on Friday and Saturday and saying, if it was not for the Daily Hour, I would not have known there was a game, which was interesting to me. I found that interesting, Sandra.
So let me say that was my next point. I feel as if the event was coming up, so the BFA was kind of like, okay, get a flyer out there. Mm-hmm. But there was not enough forward planning. And I think it's as simple as the BFA creating, you just need a simple line of protocols. It's not like you're doing a different event every time, right? Mm-hmm. And if we're able to say, okay, this many weeks out, this is where we're going to start our marketing, and all of these things need to be put into place. Once again, I don't think that the organization came early enough to get the word out there. And it's like the energy that the players got from the locals coming to see them was unmatched. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we kind of robbed them of that, because even after the match, they was coming over, people were coming over, they were getting signed jerseys and pictures and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people wanted to be there, but just didn't understand, like, so when is this? A lot of people had said to me, oh, I thought this was at night. The message wasn't driven so that we can go and support this team. So I think that it just has to be something that's organized in enough time, and it's just like dropping it in. You're doing the same thing every time, right? So I'm not quite
sure. And I think in the internet and social media age, there's absolutely no reason that people shouldn't have all of this information. When is the game? That's number one. What are the protocols and the logistics of the game? All of this literally with the website, like everything. It's so much easier to do things and get information out now that I'm a bit shocked. But folks, what are your thoughts? First off, did any of you either go to the game or watch the game? Audience, did you go to the game or watch the game? Sancha, I know quite a few people had sent me, Phil sent it in the group, but Sherry and I, unfortunately, could not watch the game on YouTube because it was not available in our country. So it wasn't available to watch in the United States with that YouTube link. Why? CONCACAF's headquartered right here in Miami. But we weren't allowed to watch it. So I had to really follow based on what people were sharing and so on. But I take people's points that Bermuda's youngsters play it very well. There were a lot of questions about the tactics and coaching and bringing a player back who hadn't played league football. Not really trying to get into that, but yeah, how many of you actually went to the game or actually watched it, and what was your experience like? Share that with us. Kenton Trott, he says, I went to the game with my family. Traveling Trotty said, I attended the game. Yeah, what was the experience like? Was your experience like Sanchez? Sanchez says she went in, she you bought VIP, you said, right?
So we bought regular grandstand tickets.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time the line had cleared and we was actually able to get into the stadium, there was nowhere for us to sit on the grandstand at the regular ticket price. But there were lots of tickets left in the VIP area. So we had to upgrade so that we could sit and enjoy the game. Because if not, we would have been standing up top. Look at what's the sense that I could have got a $20 ticket and just stood on the side,
Right.
that part. But I must say, I was messaging in the group. I was like, "Who's this person?" The younger players, they did not come to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
wanted,
Yeah, I
energy.
saw some comments quite a lot on Twitter about the players. We'll get to the players. Let's just go to the audience real quickly. Tanya Cheeseman said, I went to the game with my husband and kids, so that's great. Karen Simmons, I watched the game. Congrats to my nephew, Deniche. I think I'm pronouncing that right, Deniche, for his drive and tenacity. Angeline Butler says, I attended the game. And then Tanya Cheeseman says, I entered from the backside of the stadium. We got in the gate just as the game was starting, and then had to look for seats. I wish we had assigned seating. So the seating wasn't assigned.
No. First come, first. But I mean, that's easy enough to do. I mean, you will have to have like more ushers in order to help, show people their seats. But people look to volunteer for stuff like this all the time.
Yeah, Sean DeShield says the World Rugby Tournament receives far more advertising, hence excellent public support. Well, let's get to that.
Ooh, you told me I'm like...
Here's the thing, right? We speak about this all the time. I just don't believe in government funding. I don't believe in government funding like most people do, especially when we have a broken, competent government like what I believe the Bermuda government is. That's just my personal opinion. I believe government funding has made certain organizations lazy. I believe that Bermuda's national football team, after their Gold Cup qualification, should have been in the money in terms of sponsorship. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Honorable Member of Parliament, business owner Zandy Silva, an Island Construction, that publicly said he was going to give the team money or something to that effect, if I remember correctly. But the private sector, that was the perfect opportunity to get them on board and get them behind. It's not about, going to people when you need them. Go to them when you're in the game, when you're doing well, and you develop that relationship. And now when you get here, you're in that space and you have that money from the private sector to advertise and market. Now, it's been said for years that sports that are predominantly Black don't get the finances. Well, you don't have to look far. Businesses, companies, right? You've heard the example of BT and MTV. We watched it again. Phil doesn't watch the first things that we send in the group, so he sends things a week later from another thing that says the same thing, right? So he sends it again, and it's just repeated about how a Black media company was treated versus a white media company. Black company getting paid $8,000 versus the white company, what was it, $80,000, something like that. But again, Black sport versus traditionally non-Black sport. So this is not us talking about race, or as some people like to say, using the race card. This is the reality that we deal with, right? So I don't disagree with Sean, and it's been said for years that rugby gets all this money. We know Salem would get the money. I'm going to say that, you know what? It's enough Black businesses in Bermuda to give $1 or $2 here. This is not about charity. Again, I'm going to go here. It's about community. And if we care about our community, if we know that football is a gateway for many people, into a better life, then why aren't we working closer with the private sector? This is a battle that we face in media. I just last week put it on all of you in the audience. Because if Bermuda's a majority black country and you all majority black, then wouldn't you understand the need, like the responsibility that you have to ensure that your community is doing better? So I take Sean's point, Sancha. I do. But
It's
how
true.
many of us understand the rules that we play? I just said last week, if I told you all give $1 to us, would you do it? Not one of you have given $1. We love to talk, we love to clap, we love to celebrate. But when it comes to consumerism, we'll spend $100 with a white person or someone where your money's not coming back to you before we spend $1 with our own. So this is on us as it is as much as it's on the private sector. I hope I've made myself clear this morning. What you got, Sancha?
Sean is correct. We know this. Rugby, I don't even, you think about it, people they do it to network. They don't even do it to watch the game. If you ask them how many of them actually watch the game and support a team, they have no clue. Everyone I speak to that says, "Oh, I go to rugby," they're just going to network because that's what their company
And
sponsors.
drink beer.
Yep. And drink beer. Yeah,
drink
yeah.
beer.
And it's true. That's on the BFA as well, right? Like you're there to grow this sport, and the amount of kids that like are looking at the young talent that we have. These kids are good and they deserve a chance. But as I say, you need the right people in the room.
I remember what Kenton Trott said last week about evolving. And my question is, and this is an innocent question because I really don't know. We talk about having a marketing person and a social media person. You know, one position every company kind of needs that we literally just forget about. The most employable position in the world, regardless of industry, is sales. It's sales. Every company, they don't necessarily need the sales title. It could be the CEO or the person who runs it. But every company in the world needs a salesperson, someone who drives sponsorship, someone who earns the company revenue and dollars. But marketing and social media, it all sounds easy. Let's go through these last few comments. So I wonder if the BFA has a sales, marketing, or sponsorship person, but like that's their sole responsibility. Let us know in the audience. Traveling Trotty says, overall, the experience was good. However, the placement of the gumbays during the first half was unpleasant. Placement of gumbays. Michelle White says, I only heard about the game once. I don't usually attend football games, but there was nothing to entice me to attend either. Corrects herself. Sam Cat Play says, it's not the fact that receiving the money has made them lazy. It's the people in the organization don't pay attention and possibly don't care to the job properly. Sam Cat Play says, who wants to work with people like that? I surely won't, nor would trust them to do the job properly. Sean DeShields also says, so why was additional government funding allocated to the Gaming Commission? And it appears as if no casinos are opening anytime soon. I'm not sure about that comment, but sticking to the topic again, to really focus on government funding is to be lazy and it's to be an enemy of progress. We have to be better than that. There are hundreds of, if not more, businesses in Bermuda that have marketing budgets. What are we doing? What are we doing to put ourselves in a space where we are marketing ourselves to them to attract those dollars? Honestly, I've done sales in Bermuda, and I think it's not sustainable going to government for money. The Gaming Commission, that's a government thing. The BFA isn't. It's an organization tied to FIFA, right? I think the private sector needs to support the Bermuda Football Association. Maya's into sports, and she's been part of a national team within the last year. Let's see if she has any thoughts on this. So let's bring Maya Palacio in for the news break before Sancha gets in trouble.
Good
Well,
morning. Good morning.
hi, Sister Maya. How are you?
I'm good.
Did you? Okay, before we get into what you think, you did a really cool video on the weekend with the Bermuda national football team, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know Nicky Wells started off at Wolves, and I think it's important. Man, he said that in that video that you did. He was at Wolves until 9, and he is very clear. He's like, Dandy Ton gets a lot of credit, but look, I'm from Devonshire. I'm a Wolves guy. We forget that, man. Back in my day, where you started is where you kicked your first ball. So I know Wolves, you're probably crying after yesterday. You didn't get promoted into the big leagues, but take that. Thank Maya for sharing that with everybody, that at least Nicky Wells made you all feel good.
Yeah, that was a great piece of information to get out there.
Yeah, it was. Did you go to the game, Maya?
I couldn't. I was at work, so I was like you, kind of just tapping in and trying to figure out what the score was and asking my coworkers who got to leave and go what was going on.
Okay. Well, apparently, Sancho went and couldn't get a seat, but she's her now. I'll talk.
Good time though. I had a really good time. Like when it was over, I was like, I'm not ready for it to end. I had a good time.
It's only 90 minutes of football. I know it goes so fast. It's not like baseball and cricket where it's like all freaking day, right?
But I missed about 30 of it trying to find a seat. So
right.
You heard that, BFA? She missed a lot. Anyway, Maya, what you got for us? You I know it's Monday, so you probably got. I mean, we didn't say this, and I want to say this: we are not numb to what took place this weekend. Let me be clear: we are not numb to it. We understand what happened this weekend, although details are sketchy, and Maya will likely go into more detail about it. But what I don't want people to think is that we are numb or ignoring it, because that's the last thing we want to do as a medium and community, to act as if we're just going on about our life, talking about football as if a life was not lost. Over to you, Maya.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour Newsbreak brought to you by People's Pharmacy. And you're right, Jamal, this weekend had a list of tragedies. A man died after an altercation involving several men on Somerset Road near the junction of Hook and Ladder Lane, but it then shifted to Clyde Bass Lane around 9:30 a.m. on Saturday, March the 25th. Police service is seeking the public's assistance with its investigation to the circumstances surrounding the death. Detectives are particularly interested in speaking with anyone who may have had their phone out, mobile phone, recording the incident. There were several people in the area at the time, as there was a football game in progress on the nearby Somerset Cricket Club field. If you recorded the altercation using your phone or other device, or if you have any information at all, please contact 211, talk to a police officer that you trust, or call directly Sergeant Anika Donowa at 717-2250.
Yeah, that's a terrible situation, and condolences to the loved ones and the community for the person who was lost in that. And what I will say is, what I read from the police report, I think there were children around, and it was game taking place.
Yeah, the amount of messages I got saying, because obviously Maddox plays for Somerset, and they were like, you guys weren't around, right? And just the thought, like, it just broke my heart to think. Thank God we weren't. We played on a PAC this weekend, but to think having to explain any of that, like Rockers going on to kids that age, it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah,
it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. What else you got, man?
And the tragedy just continues. There was a Facebook post by the Bermuda police. They are investigating the sudden death of a female who was found unresponsive in the waters at Southlands Beach. The woman was found at the Wharf Beach around 4:45 p.m. on Friday. The Bermuda Police Service said in a post that she was transported by ambulance to King Edward Hospital, where sadly she was pronounced dead by doctors short time after. Foul play is not suspected at this time.
Wow. Condolences to the family. Real quickly, just making sure I heard, found at a beach?
A beach, yes.
Wow.
Southlands Beach.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. Condolences to the community. Any good news coming?
Good news is coming up soon, but one more thing that everyone must know, because this one kind of took me for kind of a shock. And lastly, on Sunday, a 7-year-old suffered a broken leg after 7 p.m. on Sunday, when police officers responded with dispatch to a serious road traffic collision involving a motor car and a pedal cycle near the junction of Brighton Hill Road and Brighton Lane in Devonshire. Reports that the 13-year-old male pedal biker suffered abrasions in his knees and hands, and the 7-year-old male passenger suffered a suspected broken leg.
You said a 7-year-old. You said 7?
7 years old.
I thought you said 70 at first. Wow.
7.
Wow. Oh my.
That's my biggest fear, you know. Like people be like, "Oh, stop hovering over it." Like,
No,
Yeah.
no, I get you, Sancha. Yeah. Hey. Well,
We
wishing,
talk about collisions all the time, right?
yeah, wishing those young people a speedy recovery. It must be a scary experience for them. A broken leg at 7 years old. Yeah, speedy recovery.
And now I'm turning it over to what I call the Maddox news, the good news. Maddox, that's Sandra started. I remember him saying, "Why is news always bad? There is some good news in news, Maddox." So here's some Maddox news for you guys. Bacardi and the 7 recipients of the name Sage Miners, Beth Sumter, Trey Virgil, Nico Bremer, Dante Trott, Chiara Lee, and Saleh have been the awardees of this awesome opportunity from Bacardi. So I'm going to play the video so you guys can see exactly how the night went.
134 applicants down to 14 interviews, and finally 7 selected to receive a fully funded educational experience at the European Bar School in London for 4 weeks to learn the ins and outs of becoming a professional bartender. This program is put on by Bacardi and the Government of Workforce and Development.
Every single thing will be provided for every student. Accommodation, airfare, a per diem while they are in London, some POS or some point of sale items, so t-shirt, sweatshirt, a bag, a notebook. We will provide them with everything that they need in order to be successful.
The requirements to apply were that you must be 21 years and older and be unemployed or underemployed. So to receive over 130 applications says a lot about the state of the youth employment in Bermuda. But thankfully, this global Bacardi project put on for the first time in Bermuda is assisting with those numbers.
We hope that, one, that it is perfectly aligned with our youth employment strategy and giving more opportunities to young people at those entry-level positions so that they can be put on a path to sustainable employment. And also we hope that we can partner with more private sector to create different opportunities in all different sectors in Bermuda so that we can give opportunity to young people and for those who are seeking employment so that we can support them and get them back to work.
The age range of the winners was 23 to 32, and they'll be heading to London on Thursday, March 30th to begin the first week of their 10-week program. Once they finish the 4 weeks in London, they'll return home for more classes on marketing oneself and work placement.
I mean, Bacardi, I've been here for 17 years. Bacardi is a fantastic place to work, and we have a huge variety of brands. We have over 200 brands and labels in our portfolio. We cater to all tastes, but we really are also promote responsible drinking. And our corporate philosophy is to make moments matter, or making moments matter. And we truly believe in making moments matter, and we use that as our centerpiece in all of our decision making, keeping our consumer at the heart of everything we do.
I'm impressed. Marquita Lee says, congratulations to all, especially my daughter, Kiara. Congratulations to all of the participants and your daughter, Kiara, Marquita Lee. I'm impressed. I like it. And again, folks, I continue to say this is community, not charity. And I want people to understand what I mean by that in community. Community creates jobs and opportunities, right? Charity gives 10,000 here, 3,000 there. Community doesn't give them money. What community does is create opportunities for them to make their own money. You heard the old thing, I can take a horse to whatever, drink or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, but I can't make it think, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, whatever. Well, however it goes, you get what I mean. But I love this. I do. I love it. And to see the support that the relationship between workforce development making it happen. This is how we do things. This is how community works. Congrats to Bacardi.
I think the metaphor you're looking for was give a man a fish or eat for a day, teach a man to fish.
That's the one. Say it again, Maya, because Sancha's muted herself, so she was saying something too.
I said, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man how to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime.
That's the one. That's the one. Don't worry about me. I'm not good with these metaphors and stuff, folks. Don't worry
But
about
I reminded you of this one last week, Jamal.
You did. Look, man, hey, I used to drink a lot years ago, and my memory's not what it used to be.
Yeah, but it was a good event. I got to hang out with Samaya. It was a very good event. We enjoyed it.
See, you'd have been there with celebrities if you got an invite, folks.
Well, if you're keeping up with the theme of community and also what you guys discussed just by the football game itself, talking about not waiting for anyone else to do something, you know, we have a whole lot of people who are able and can help and assist with these matters. Well, this next story, I think, is going to touch home for a lot of people who may constantly ask, what can government do for them?
If not you, then who? If not now, then when? That's the message the Pigsfield Family Connection leaves with the legacy of opening the new and improved Pigsfield Park. Almost 2 years ago, destruction and tragedy struck when the park was set on fire. And almost 2 years ago, a community didn't wait or watch, they worked. This group of individuals had full-time jobs, families, and everyday life that comes along with everyday problems to solve. Yet still, they completed a task they knew would uplift the lives of thousands. They became a registered charity, rallied for donations, and honored the neighbors who continued to hold the community accountable.
Miss Forbes, if she sees somebody littering, Miss Forbes is going to let you know. If she sees someone doing something they shouldn't be doing, she's going to let you know. If a dog's without a lead, Miss Forbes, let me tell you something. As much as people act like they don't appreciate you, you are appreciated. And that is the one thing this committee wants. We need more people like you that are not afraid to speak up. I know you are a senior in this neighborhood, and we respect and we honor you today. And that is the reason why you will be one of them that is cutting the ribbons alongside of the children.
Kevin Grant, Irvin Ingham, Carla Martin, Quincy Painter, Patrina O'Connor Painter, Deputy Premier Walter Urbane, and the president of Pigsfield Connection, Rydell Painter, were the driving forces behind the Pigsfield Playground.
We can't say it's international business problem. It's government's problem. It's the community's problem. It is all of our problem. You understand? So if it is all of our problem, then we all have a part to play in making a difference and bringing about change. So that's my biggest thing for everyone. If this project hasn't shown you anything, it shows the power of a full community, full Bermuda community. You know, not just us versus them.
The new and improved equipment on this park includes AstroTurf, which allows for a softer surface in case of falls, and of course, reduces the chances of dirty clothes after tons of fun on the playground. The estimated cost of this project is about $125,000, but the growth, development, and community events to be held on this field is priceless.
Well, I'm going to say this, that Pigsfield, that's my neighborhood. That's where, you know, when I had chicken pox as a teenager, me and my boy, we went down there, we out of school, we had chicken pox together, one of my close friends, and we didn't know. And we found out, called him, he went Berkeley, I was at Northlands. Northlands was a high school back then. And it's like, yo, I'm got chicken pox. You too? We went down Pigsfield, and, you know, they had some elderly events going on down there at the time, and we played cricket with each other. We would play basketball. I remember even Dante Hunt coming down there, any person that could dunk. It was a neighborhood thing. And now Pigsfield is known for what, Sandra? That's where Maddox goes to practice gumbies, and, you know, H&H. That's where we practiced football back in the day. North Village Field was not always Bernard Park. We were on the desert down there across from Victor Scott, where we was picking up trash, and over on Pigsfield. So it's a big part of who I was growing up, and to see faces like Patrina and her husband Quincy and others from the area in there, it's just a staple in the community. And like she said, this is not an IB problem or a government problem. This is a community problem. So love to see it. And folks, let's protect our community. Let's make sure that that ground stays safe for the generations coming behind us. It's a very important space in not just that area, but again, Maddox and Sancha live Somerset, but it's a big part of their lives as well.
Exactly. I was there just on, when did they have training? Monday, right? So we'll be there again today. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. Like the playground, it's really nice. It's one of those where I feel like I would probably, on a day that we don't have anything going on, we will stop what we're doing and go and play on that playground. It was really nice.
Indeed. And I agree with Sean. this is why we love her. This is why she's here. Excellent stories, double. Absolutely, folks. These are stories brought to you by Maya, going out on her time to get them for you. Karen Simmons says Pigsfield back open again, community working together. Absolutely, and we must. We must.
Yeah. It was actually quite like just heartwarming to be there around everyone getting it done. And as soon as they cut that ribbon, those kids were going to that playground. Like there was no seconds or in between. They knew once that ribbon's cut, we can go, right? And they were gone, and they would just had the time of their lives. And you just got to watch them play for like 20 minutes. It was just like, wow, like how like it's so important to have a playground, and you think about all the memories that you may have had. And I actually went down the slide, which I haven't done in such a long time. And I was just like, you know what, this is so fun. And it made you just feel like good about being a part of something and having something for the next generation to come. So big ups to that community for like making it happen.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Are you ready for my days of the year?
She
Oh,
is.
don't you just give us the weather, Sancha?
Sorry.
The weather yet? Like, you know.
Sorry, I know what the weather looks like, so.
Maya, is what she see is what she's looking at real?
Okay, what she's looking at hopefully is some sunny breaks up in the sky this morning, but there might be a chance of some sprinkles going on later in the day. And we have a high of 73 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty decent considering some windy days. So,
Yeah.
All right.
It seems overcast over here. I don't see the sun, but hopefully it'll peek out.
What happens when you live that side of the island? What you got? What days of the year is it, Sandra?
Today is World Theater Day.
Oh.
Theaters are magical places where stories come to life. The stage is a portal to other worlds where we can laugh, cry, and be transported by the power of live performance. Dating back a few thousand years, theater is a unique and interesting part of the culture that has certainly evolved over time. The word theater gets its root from the ancient Greek word that means a place for seeing, and that definition continues to be meaningful today. Even after so many centuries, theater continues to be used as a way to not only tell stories and see things, but to make an impact on culture and society at large.
Well, the other day, have you guys ever acted or in a stage play like theater or anything?
Jamal,
I know you, but I want you to explain. Come on now, don't I mean, come on.
So
you don't know.
Sorry. When I was 22, 23, I actually was in insurance. And I remember I used to look out the window and I was like, I can't do this. I need to go and see the world. And I left. I remember my dad came and picked me up. He's like, well, just leave. I left HSBC Insurance and I moved to New York and I went to Lee Strasberg Theater Institute, which is one of the best theater schools ever. And I started to do, hold on, sorry. I actually started to do off-Broadway musicals. I was doing not theater, but film, independent films. And I used to actually travel. Like I've been in some like festivals and it was amazing. But
Do you sing, Sandra?
Broadway. I can't sing, but I can do Broadway. Yeah, I was in musicals. I used to sing. Yes, I had some lead roles. Pardon? I can't hear you guys.
You know where I'm going with this.
You want me to? I'm not singing nothing, Jamal.
Fine.
I need some footage for real.
Footage? I have footage. I do.
Talking about Jamal, she told us this summer. Sam Cat plays. You and me were here. We don't know in the audience there are people who ain't here. You know what I'm saying? They've never heard this story. Jeez, Sam.
I think you know what, to be honest, I think I told this story before I actually started the Daily Hour. It was when I actually came on as a guest.
Yeah.
I think that's what I said. Jamal, we didn't even say I've been here a year now. We didn't even acknowledge that.
Can you let me celebrate some things? I mean, your birthday is at the end of the week. Like, can I do some? Man, I can't do anything I want to do. But yes, it's your birthday week too, Sandra.
It's a birthday week, guys.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff this week. Yeah, but Maya, you've been in any stage plays, anything?
No, but I love the theater. I watched my mom on stage before, which was super funny at City Hall, and I done the string ensemble a lot. So I was like in the quartet or like in the band while the plays were going on. I did the cello, and I love it. I love the atmosphere.
You know what, Maya? You know what? Have you been to a Broadway play or anything before?
Yes, I have.
Hmm.
Yes, I went to see Lion King.
Is that the one I saw or Aladdin? I don't know. I usually go sleep in movie theaters and plays. Not because they're boring. I'm just old like that. But you know
You
what?
need to go to the right ones, Jamal.
Not Motown. I didn't go sleep in. Motown was one of the best
You need
ones.
to get to the right ones.
I went
Like,
to Pretty Woman. I think I stayed awake for that. Living in New York, you have to go to them.
listen, I used to cast for musicals. Like it was about intern casting.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun. So much fun. I said the other day, I saw MJ the musical recently. Must see.
Well, that's what I was going to say just now. You know, when we're in Vegas, maybe since Sancha and Sharon and everybody else don't want to come, maybe I'll treat Maya and Tamara to like a little show.
It's gonna happen.
Do you want to go to MJ or the Beatles? Let me know, Maya. We'll talk about it off air. We're going to the National Association of Broadcaster Conference, folks. Sancha, Sherry, Phil, Larry, everybody else too busy, so it's just gonna be Maya and Tamara and I. We're gonna go to a little show. Yeah.
You don't want me to throw you under the bus and saying how you was being a little BFA-ish and telling us last minute, right?
Yeah, I'm like that, but you ain't gotta tell everybody. Anyway, Maya's gotta go, folks. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. She just, I'm the buster over here. You got
Before
something?
I go, entertainment-wise, since we're talking about it, I'm gonna have a live tonight with Nadanja Bailey on my Instagram at 7:30, and we're talking about Bermuda's entertainment history and the future. So tap into that too.
That's one of my favorite two fools, man. I'm telling you. I'm looking forward to it. Nadanja is nuts. What time?
7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m.
You know what Nadanja calls me? This makes no sense whatsoever. Chung Lee. But only I could be walking down the street. It's like Chung Lee.
You want me to find out why?
He'll tell you.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna find out some things tonight, folks. Check it out, 7:30 p.m. She's got it on our Instagram. It's up on our Instagram story as well. Nadanja and Maya. This should be interesting. Maya and a comedian. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Hey, welcome back to the Big Show. Sancha Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond our mic as we do our part to improve our community. We have a lot of giveaways coming up this week. Just an FYI, we have a lot of giveaways and some big announcements. Yes, it's Sancha's birthday week, so we have a lot of giveaways, some big announcements later on this week, so you don't want to miss a chance. I'm going to just tell you, if you haven't already, follow us on social media and please subscribe to our website because we want to give you stuff. We want to give you stuff. All right. So engage. We're going to be giving away a lot. And when I say a lot, probably more than we've ever given before. So you want to tune in. But Sancha, before we start rewarding people with stuff that we probably aren't eligible to win, there was a question. So we talked about the talent in the game. You know, you said there were a lot of young, talented people in the game. A lot of people saying it was such talent. And then the question of, you know, the coaching came up. Like, you know, Ms. Lightbourne's done a great job. Maybe it's time to move on. And then I said, well, you know, maybe Bermuda should look outside for a non-Bermudian coach, a foreign coach. Most countries have foreign coaches. If you look at the World Cup, a lot of countries, you know, traditionally have had foreign coaches. Now, I don't believe that foreign is necessarily the answer, but I'm like, well, Bermuda has a tendency not to really like the whole foreign concept in any respect, right? And we've had a lot of conversations from a government perspective that Bermuda needs people. But the question is, and it's a yes or no question, audience. It's a yes or no question. Are we still opposed to immigration? Are we still opposed to foreigners coming to Bermuda? And when I say that, we're talking about on all levels, because Bermuda has an interesting thing. It's not just lower, it's every level and every class. But Bermuda needs people. But do you believe Bermudians are still opposed to foreign or, you know, non-Bermudian workers in the space? What are your thoughts, Sanjay?
I think that as Bermudians, we realize that we need people. I think that one of the concerns is just making sure that we protect certain things for ourselves, for, you know, the natives that are here, and what does that look like? So I think that we understand this. It's a necessity, but we also, like I said, need the government to protect us, if that makes sense, right? And I think that if that is understood and we feel safe in that space, then we're open arms. So like, yes, this needs to happen. But
well, what does that? So I think you said something that I actually love. You just said the government to protect us. So would protection be like the government protected bartenders? Bacardi responds by offering Bermudians the opportunity to go and get certified and becoming bartenders. See how that all came together right there? Is that the sort of protection, like, you know, at least protect certain opportunities so that Bermudians have the opportunity to flourish in them?
that's one. That's one. I think it's several instances. This is one of those times where I'm choosing my words, Jamal.
She knows how to do that better than me, folks. You know.
Yeah. There are several instances, and I know you saw Barb and I have a conversation going back and forward in the group the other day.
Oh yeah.
And
Yes.
yeah, so this is kind of near and dear to me. I just think that sometimes we worry a lot about being hospitable and making sure that our immigrants are comfortable and well taken care of. But I do not think, on the other hand,
Black locals.
yes.
Yeah. No, I completely understand you. You don't want to give more to those to others. What you want is create a fair system where, you know, there's equity across the board. So I completely get you. But folks, audience, let us know, are we opposed? Do you believe Bermudians are opposed to immigration? Because again, we all know at this point we need people into Bermuda. Traveling Trotty says no. She doesn't believe that we're still opposed to immigration. NTS says no. And Karen Simmons says no. And I think for the most part, this is not 2008, 2009. I think back then, I mean, I remember people calling the radio station I was at, complaining about a person standing up, holding a stop. Oh, that's a number. I got number medians out here working the lines and doing this. One of the most embarrassing things I saw for Bermuda in recent years, and it was probably just prior to the pandemic, was a guy recording, and forgive me if this is you, but I'm calling it was ridiculous, right? A guy recording a Chinese visitor. You know how they bring their people, they bring their travel groups, and they take them around destinations. You see it in Vegas and New York often. Well, they went off a cruise in Bermuda, and a Bermudian had a camera saying, "Hey, this non-Bermudians giving tours in Bermuda," and so on. And I thought it was a very embarrassing moment for Bermuda. Again, if you travel, you see this often. Number one, do you know a Bermudian that is in the travel space that speaks a Chinese language, Mandarin, Cantonese, that can communicate with these folks? that person wasn't keeping Bermudians out of a job. They were actually keeping Bermudians in a job, because the persons that work at the experiences where these people were going, those were people who were benefiting from them coming. So I just want to highlight, like, we have to understand the difference between, what's the great replacement theory that they say in the US, like being replaced and being enhanced. Yeah. Immigration at this point is an enhancement for Bermuda and Bermudians. Michelle White says the majority of Bermudians do understand, but I believe that those who still shout the largest against foreign workers still don't get it. It's hard not to get at this point. And Traveling Shorty says she remembers that situation. Well, that's a short one. We're going to take a quick break, come back with the Daily Play, wrap it up after this here. But again, I think we've moved past the thinking that foreign workers aren't the issue for Bermuda. I think we've collectively moved past it. And I think we understand that, you know what, all great nations, countries that flourish economically need a mix of people. Interesting times. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back after this and wrap it up with the Daily Play and our final thoughts. Stick with us. Well, if you appreciated what we've had so far, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, please.
Hi, welcome to ER Fisheries. I'm Jalen Steed, store manager and trained chef, and I'm here to help you with all of your food needs. Let's talk about why you should come and check out ER Fisheries. We offer the widest range of specialty meats and seafood items at a price point that will absolutely fit your budget. As a chef, I'm able to answer all of your food questions, help you come up with meal ideas, and generally guide you in the right direction. You'll get a custom shopping experience unlike any other food store in Bermuda, where we'll cater to your needs and provide you with excellent customer service. Where else can you get quality cooking advice and quality products? I look forward to helping you with all your meal ideas.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right, welcome back. Sanj Dorn, myself, Jamel Harp. And folks, if you appreciated today's discussion, especially that news break. Awesome to Maya. Thank you so much for the work that she does, what she puts into getting those unique stories for you. Again, folks, you can go a lot of places and get the same news, but Maya's putting in work, getting you stories, bringing you engaging news that you're just not getting anywhere else. So really, really appreciate her so much. Looking forward to spending time with her in Vegas and seeing what we can get out of this conference to make things even better for you. So give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Medical House, and Lindos for ensuring we can have these conversations for you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sancha, are you ready?
Let's go. You said it's going to be a difficult one. So, audience, I need help before he
All right. Here we go. It's a Who Said It, and it's a famous actress who passed away within the last year or two. Quote, challenges make you discover things about yourself that you never really knew. Initial CT.
Oh, yes, Cicely Tyson.
Cicely
Yes,
with a C, but yes, Cicely
yes,
Tyson.
yeah,
Unfortunately, not the Baxter, not Betty White. Yeah, Cicely Tyson.
yeah.
She said, challenges make you discover things about yourself that you never really knew. Folks, hey, I like it. Got to challenge yourself. Sancha, final thoughts on today's discussion. Obviously, you know, some things we can learn from this weekend's events with the Bermuda national football team, and then just like about immigration.
Yeah. Um, I am proud of the team that, well, the youngsters that came out there and they came to play. They made me proud, win, lose or draw. I actually had a really good experience once we had gotten settled. And I just think that we just need to be more prepared overall. You know, we want to continue to grow Bermuda in every aspect, right? And I
Mhm.
think that we need to be prepared, and that means planning in advance and treating this. These guys are putting in a lot of work. And the work that they're putting in, I think that it should be showcased and we should want to be successful for them, right? So
Mhm.
we need to put in the work on the back end.
Yeah.
Um, with immigration, I it it's obvious. At this point, I think that the mindset that we used to have that, oh, Bermuda for Bermudians, and we get that. But in
Mhm.
order for our economy to grow and for us to be better, we need people coming to Bermuda. But in the same token, I think that there has to be work that's done that protects all of us on their end and ours. So
Yeah.
yeah, it can't be one-sided.
Yeah. In reference to the game, all I've heard is positivity in terms of the young players that play it for Bermuda. I think that Bermuda probably has one of the best teams it's ever had in terms of young players playing professionally, semi-professionally, and overseas. That can only bode well for the future of Bermuda's national team. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy people recognize that. Despite the loss, they saw the positives in the way they played. But as far as putting on better events, I think the BFA knows that there's always going to be room for improvement, and I look forward to seeing what they've learned from this when the next game does happen to make it a better experience for Bermuda and Bermudians and overall everyone who's going out to the national stadium. As far as immigration, I remember it was a time I would travel to New York City long before I moved there. And every time I got in a cab, yeah, we took cabs back there, young people. We took cabs back then, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have Uber back then. But anyway, when you got into a cab, there was never an American cab driver or a cab driver from New York. They were always from somewhere else, be it the Middle East or Africa or Haiti, like different places in the Caribbean. And it helped me understand, when you went to a hotel in some places in New York, they had their name and then they had where they were from, right? So it helped, this big city, this big destination, and how many, it was like a melting pot of people from all over that made this place so great. That's what I think Bermudians need to understand, that we have to make space for others in order for us to thrive. But we have to ensure that, as Sancha said, when we do this, we're protecting people. We're not pushing people out or making them feel like they're being displaced. Sancha, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do have some daily inspiration for you, and it is brought to you by ER Fisheries. Here we go. Always aim high, work hard, and care deeply about what you believe in. And when you stumble, keep faith. And when you're knocked down, get right back up and never listen to anyone who says that you can or shouldn't go on. And that's by Hillary Clinton.
Interesting. That's a good one. Keep going, folks. Push on, push on, push on. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Big show tomorrow. We've got the U.S. Consulate coming in. Get your questions ready. A lot of you still have questions about the vaccination requirement, visas, waivers. Well, we'll be discussing it all. She's Sencha Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a safe and a great day. Until tomorrow, we're out. Peace.